Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob Restituto, and I'm a musician from Northport, New York. And you know that I love seeing the behind-the-scenes breakdown videos of how artists and how producers and how they collaborate and create these massive hits. So, hope you guys are enjoying the content. If you want to check out my music, it's Jacob Restituto wherever you listen. Got a whole bunch of music out there. This is Justin Bieber or the making of Justin Bieber's Peaches. So, I'm really looking forward to seeing this. As always, consider subscribing. Let's see what we got.
Working with Bieber is like, this guy is getting packs from everybody on a day-to-day basis. So it's just like, how can I beat everybody else that's sending him beats? Like, okay, I'm a musician, so let me just see how he's feeling right now. I just like to start from scratch. Like, every session that I do is from scratch. Like, I'll sit down and play a melody, read the room, and just go from there.
So that's a really interesting concept, especially I've been thinking about a lot lately as an artist. Justin Bieber puts out a lot of music, and some of it he's involved in the production of, and some of it he's not. Like, this guy is talking about right here how he just sent Justin the track. You know, it's like, I've been thinking a lot about it personally as in my own music. Like, I wonder why don't I just start, reaching out to other producers and seeing if they want to send me tracks or something like that, and like doing a collaborative tracks like that. How much more music could I release if I don't have to create everything? You know what I mean? It's like, it'd be essentially like if you're building a house, right? And like, the contractor has to, make the steel to put the beams in, or actually plane the wood to put the wood on. It's like, no, he just gets all the stuff and then he builds a house. And it's a thing I've been thinking about lately. So I don't know what I'll end up doing. We'll see what we got.
Right from the source, yeah, that's it. I prefer to use live instrumentation in my production because
we should reach out to Harv and see if we get him on the channel.
From is where I was brought up. My mom is a pianist. Her mother was a classically trained opera singer. And then on my dad's side, my dad plays trumpet. My uncles played bass and drums and everything. So I kind of had no choice. I started working with Justin in 2010. Just me being on tour with him.
Just sent them a message on Instagram.
Just to always create with him, because we'll be in like Iowa, some random city like Des Moines, and it's like nothing else to do, and we'll just vibe out and make music. Last year, like after Changes dropped during the pandemic, really that's when we started working on Justice. We hooped on Sunday, right? So then like I go home like Sunday and I see Justin like post him sitting at the piano. I get my peaches out in Georgia, yeah, that's it. I get my weed in California. Shindo, which is the guy who's on the production with me, he put like a 8-bar drum loop on it. I was like, yo, okay, great. We go to the studio and we put like all the elements to Peaches together. I sent it to Justin. 2 hours later, he hits me back. He said, Givion's recording it right now. Giveon sent his verse back in like an hour. All this is happening.
So that's the funny part about production is sometimes like, you're not even in the studio. A lot of the times, actually, the producers or artists aren't even in the studio. Features very often, like you'll be like, the artist will never meet up in person. It'll just be like, hey, record your vocals in your studio, I'll record my vocals in my studio, and you send them to each other, which is kind of funny.
And like one day, we got Daniel on probably like 3 weeks later, because we was in the studio like one day, and Justin was like, yo, like, how can we make this song better? And I was thinking like, yo, let's just add some harmonies or something. Like, let's just, maybe you do another verse. And he was just like, nah, I'm going to get Daniel on it. I was like you give it Daniel on the record is like crazy. The intro of the song is where we kind of started from.
We're using a Shure SM7B. He's using a Shure SM7B right here. Very, 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 very popular microphone. Just podcasting microphone, recording. It's becoming more and more popular as a recording microphone, which is just, I'm noticing it, and I'm finding that very interesting.
The intro of the song is where we kind of started from, and that was from the actual IG screen recording that we used.
How crazy is that? This song that has millions of plays on it, the intro of the song comes from a legitimate Instagram screen capture. Like, that's crazy. We get so caught up in having to get the perfect gear to get this perfect recording, to get all this clean sound, and they literally taking a screen recording from Instagram stories and adding effects to it.
We bring it back in the verse, like at the end of the verse.
That's so crazy.
When we grabbed the Instagram piano, Shindo sent me over this fire drum loop. I think at first it was like a 4 on the floor he sent me or something. I was just like, no, like, let's go to the studio and actually work on it. So then we opened up the drums, and then We just wanted the kick to kind of be
4 on the floor is the kick drum on every beat. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's 4 on the floor. So if you had a like anything, like you could just have kick, or you could like as snare, you know, whatever you're doing. But that still has the kick drum 4 on the floor. There's a beat on every chord note, which there's 4 chord notes in a measure. So typically in 4/4 time signature, which is very popular for pop. So you get that
a little loose and a little, you know, a little different than I think how it was at first.
That's a heavy kick, man. Fat kick. And you hear that very low in the mix. Super interesting sample trap.
It's a groove, like it's just a solid groove, and like every drummer knows like the best drummers have the best pocket. So it's like long as we had that 8-bar loop of the drums, it was just like easy to layer and put everything else on top of it. The next instrument that I wanted to add was the bass guitar, and I just used a P bass. Like I used a $250 P bass for this.
This is so crazy, you guys, because I've been talking to a lot of musicians, whether it be interviews or watching these videos, and I'm learning more and more and more that you don't need the best gear. You just need to know how to use the gear. So, for example, he used P bass. P bass right here is, he said, like a very cheap plugin. Let's see. I think, or unless they're talking about the actual, like, hold on, let's see. Maybe it's one of the, hold on. Let's see.
$150 P bass for this.
Okay, so he's probably talking about the actual, I'm sorry, my mistake. P bass being the actual, no, I'm pretty sure P bass is a P bass plugin, I think. But regardless, P bass plugin. Yeah, so maybe not. I don't know. But regardless, point being, like, you don't have to use the craziest stuff. You get the stuff that you know how to use, and you work it. You learn how to use the equipment, and that's what blows my mind. That's so wild.
I wanted to switch the pockets up for the bass. So on the verse, as you can see, like the way I played it, I was more chill and left some space open.
Sounds almost like it's slightly out of tune, which is also fascinating.
After I got the bass down, I went to the guitar.
That's that classic guitar part that we know of. Super reverby. Huge reverbs on those
then
guys.
I did some little guitar trills and fills and stuff, so they come in with the bass, as you can see straight off the first hook. I like to always put little on.
That almost sounded like it could have been a vocal chop, but I do think it was a guitar actually.
I like to always put little undertones or little solos and stuff like that, especially when I do guitars. I put little solo lines and tuck them real low, and I added some pads right here in this same section.
Almost sounds like a Prophet synth right there, which is a Prophet synth is a very popular synthesizer.
So on top of the
expensive
piano
one
that
too.
we ripped off of IG, I added another piano on my own just to give it another layer, and it comes in at the hook.
Almost has this vintage affected kind of tone to it. Pretty much just a loop that repeats over and over and over again.
Pianos, I change the voicing of each different piano just so, you know what I'm saying, each one to sound different, and it just kind of makes...
So when he says he changes the voicing, he changes the way that it's played. So for example, you could play a D chord, which would be D, F sharp, and A, but instead you would change it, whether you play it high or lower, but you could go like F sharp, A, D, or F sharp, D, A, or you just change kind of the format and the order of how you're playing them.
Makes the song bigger. You don't want to never like have the same piano, like 2 or 3 piano sounds with the same chord voicing on it. It just starts getting like too cluttered. After
It kind of
Gibbs'
opens
verse,
up the
it goes into like
frequencies.
a broken down bridge, whatever you want to call it. And for this section, I just wanted to create a bed of like pads, strings. I think we added some snaps.
Those are sweet pads, man. Ooh, tight, clean, right in the center, snaps.
I was gonna do a guitar solo first, and I think I had like this sound already like queued up in the session. I just started like freestyling, right? And then Shindo was just like, yo, you should like, you have to do it on that sound. As you can see, I cut it in and out just so it just comes in at spots and not all the way through.
Oh, that's cool. So what you're actually seeing right here, so this is actually really interesting. So you're seeing the two different Serum, which is a plugin. I don't remember who makes it. Serum, let's see, Serum plugin is made by Extra Transfer, I guess it is. But it's a very, very, very popular synthesizer program. Very popular. But what they did is they actually bounced. So this is the lead played through MIDI. So he probably recorded on some sort of like MIDI controller. And then he bounced that into this actual waveform. Because you can see that that's the actual MIDI right there. It's following the MIDI pattern. That's wild. Crazy effects on it too.
I took you guys through the bass track, the guitar track, the pads track, the drums track, the bridge, and all the feels of the guitars and everything. So you combine all those together and you have Peaches.
Copyright claim.
Producers or writers or artists have success. And for me to finally, you know what I'm saying, have that moment, man, it was just awesome. It just made everything I worked for like my whole life it just made it make sense.
It all pays off in the end, man. You
I
just
got
keep
my
going.
first placement working with Gucci, man. Lemonade. Yeah, I used to work with Bangladesh a lot, and he was playing me the beat, and I was just like, he was like, grab your bass, and I just started this like bass line, the dee 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 dun 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 dun. So like I just played that bass line, and then next thing I know, Gucci walked in. I was like, oh shit.
Dude, I love that stuff, man. It's so good. So good. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I really enjoy watching these behind the scenes processes. I'd love to know if you have any more recommendations of ones you'd love to see. So thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you want to check out my music, it's Jacob Restituto, wherever you listen. Have a great day. God bless. Sign up for Patreon if you're interested in that. And if you want to subscribe, that means a lot to me. Peace out.